Hello everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's Warhammer Wednesday, our favorite day of the week. Look, we've got twins. Well, cousins, I guess. I haven't done any more with the Gladiator because I wanted to do all of that on stream, but I started also building just a standard Impulsor, which again is the same model, same kit. I did put like I said, the two things that I learned with this one into practice on this one. So, but again, they're very minor, nothing you would notice from far away whatsoever. So continue playing with that later. But yeah, getting almost done with this Gladiator. And again, we've got the three different turret weapon systems. So this is the twin onslaught cannon for the Reaper, the laser for the Lancer, and the twin las talon for the Valiant. Which again, as long as you don't glue it, comes apart. Just pop out the weapon, pop the other one in, close it up, stick it on the turret, and you're good to go. Now, I did see some people talked about that. Yes, you can do exactly what I did, just open it up and do that. The other parts are falling off, but that's fine. Now, you will notice that while these two fit in pretty tightly, the laser, I mean, that's not too bad. On some people's, it dips quite a bit. So what they did was they opened all this up and they put a little teeny tiny magnet on the bottom of this plate and then a magnet on the top of this one. So essentially it keeps it up. Let's put it that way. Which is, an option. Like I said, mine doesn't really droop down so far, at least right now. Let's see. Question: what would you make of a Tarox? Is it a good vehicle rules-wise? I am not up on all the rules for that in the new edition. I believe. What am I trying to remember? Because there are two different versions of it. There's the regular Tarox and the Tarox Prime. Actually, I just saw a battle report, a full Tempestus Scions army going up against word bearers of all things, and the guy was running, was it 4 Taroxes? I'm not sure if they were Taroxes or Tarox Primes, but they did a lot of work. They with all of there were a couple different weapon systems on them, and he had a couple versions. There was one with the missiles and one with the Gatling, whatever they are. And they were pretty cool. They definitely worked well in the battle report that I saw. Pandar raid, woo! From your bed. So yeah, and I happen to think that the Taroxes look fine. A lot of people, if you are listening or watching, you're not familiar with what we're talking about. The Tarox is a little, it's like I guess, is it an armored personnel carrier / little mini tank thing? A lot of people, the first thing that they think about when they look at Taroxes is, I'm just going to grab a picture. A lot of people don't like the tracks on them. They're a tracked vehicle. So usually the first, it's a joke, but the first thing that you hear when somebody's making a Tarox is, oh, what wheels are you getting for it that you're swapping out for the tracks? No, god damn it! Why is the internet going to these WebP images that you can't just grab out of a browser and interact with? Can somebody tell me that? So frustrating. I hate it. I mean, I also might just be too dumb to figure out how to work with them, but they always trip me up when I'm trying to do things especially things quickly. Okay, here is a Taurox. Obviously painted up and done up in some specific things. Infantry fighting vehicle. Thank you, Rabbit Wombat. Yes, huge tracts. The Chimera is the APC. That's fighting vehicle. Got it. No, that's good. Yeah, it's like nothing on my computer works with WebP, but it's like, here's the thing. I'm old and I'm still using Firefox, and Firefox does not allow me to save it as something else unless I need to install something first, which could be. So anyway, so this is a Taurox, and yeah, people just, there's a lot of hate for those little mini tread things. I think it's okay. Like I said, I actually do like the vehicle itself. Okay, Pandar. So you and me are in the same boat. Oftentimes if I'm looking at something, and it's a WebP, I'll just screen capture it and then open up a program and then just paste it into there and save it. But again, if I'm just trying to grab it, yeah, no, thank you, I appreciate that. So yeah, like I said, a lot of people are like, oh no, the treads, and they put wheels on, and there, if you Google image search the Taurox, you'll see a million examples of how to do wheels on the thing. So if you are interested in wheels, there are lots of people who have done it before you and can help you. But yeah, I think it looks cool, and like I said, the most I can say is that I just literally last night watched a battle report with it, and it did pretty well. So there. All right. So with all of the turret stuff done, we're working on the sponsons, and there are different sponsons. So I'm going to cut out all the pieces and not glue anything, I think is the deal, that you can just push them in and out. There are heavy bolters. There are the quad, the new Tempest bolters. Well, I'm sorry, Tempest bolters. Those look like heavy bolters, and then something else. Oh, and then the Meltas. That's right. The Scion Taurox. Okay, that makes sense because that's what I was watching. I was watching a Tempestus Scions army going up against Word Bearers. So that makes sense, Rabbit Wombat. And again, a lot of people are sort of in a holding pattern right now, waiting for their 9th edition codex. And I mean, all we know for sure is that Death Guard and Drukhari are coming soon. Other than that, we don't really know. It'll be sometime in the next year and a half. Yes, Stardust. That is what I was watching. I'll say I was skimming through. There's a lot of these videos take a while to get through. Actually, I didn't watch the whole thing. Usually on battle reports that are like full games, I like to watch the beginning, hear about what the armies are, see what they look like. I usually watch the game setup and the deployments, and then I might skip through a little bit, but that's usually all I watch. Especially if I look down and the video runtime is like 3.5 hours. The problem also is that, and not to say that can't be interesting, but I also find it that if I have one of those things on in the background, like I want to watch it, and I can't sit there for that long and see what happens. But those guys do a good job. Typically, I'll like I said, I'll watch the first part of theirs, and then the what is it? The tabletop Titans. They also do a good job. Yeah, and the people certainly seem nice, especially Luca, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we all know how long how long 40K games can be, and it's a lot to try to sit there and watch a video of them. And I'm certainly not faulting them. It's hard to make them interesting for a very long time. As we know from Hyper. And that's why we have characters and interactions with the people watching and all sorts of things like that. And even then, we're only getting through hopefully 3 rounds and 3+ hours. It's a lot. I followed Scary. I haven't had a chance to actively go and check out the content. But it's on my very long list of things to do. Man, I have so many projects happening this week. And children. And attempts at work things. It's a lot. It's a lot right now. But can't complain. Keeping busy. People, we are almost in a new year. I don't want to jinx it, but it has to be better than this current one. Oh no, this isn't wood. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I don't tend to watch or listen to a lot of people who are tournament focused specifically. So that'll be a nice resource. Tomorrow's the last day of COVID, exactly. I don't know about all of you, but in this house we religiously watch all of the vaccine news. Okay, we're like, all right, well, there's this vaccine. Okay, now what's the success percentage on this one? Okay, planning this all out, keeping notes. I find that stuff fascinating, especially the different. I mean, we don't have to talk about all this if it's triggering for anybody, but the different sciences that are going into the different kinds of vaccines and why we got these first ones approved first, but they're the most difficult to distribute and keep cool and all that stuff. And then there are these other ones that are still being worked on that might end up being cheaper, just as effective, and easier to distribute and transport. I find all that stuff really interesting. Okay, so essentially what happens here is there's like a housing that holds the sponson in place. Then there's the actual sort of box, the back half of the weapon system itself. And then you attach to that essentially a bracket that then holds the barrel of whatever weapon it is. I know it's hard to see. So I'm assuming the bracket is the same for all of the pieces. Let me see. So A30. Oh no, so that one just goes on directly. Okay. So I can't glue that on. That's good to know. So is this the part that I do have to magnetize? I thought that guy in the video said you didn't have to magnetize. You didn't have to magnetize anything. It just made it easier. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's not as convenient, but we'll figure that out. right, Pandar. That makes sense. That's logical. Oh yes, Zardoz. I saw the link. I haven't been able to check it out yet, but thank you. I will check out the cartoon. Like I said, I have vague recollections that maybe I watched the cartoon at one point, but I could not tell you anything about it. All right, so where are the housings for this? I'm looking for part number 60. Some kind of a circle deal, but it's not these. Is it these? Aha, it's these. Okay. Cool. Do not engage enhanced imaging? What? But yeah, I mean, Pandar, if your place is COVID free, we're all coming there. Well, I have moderate hopes for 2021. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to go crazy and assume it's going to be the best thing ever, but all right. So I also think I got the wrong. Did I get not A8? No, that is 8. I think they misprinted, unless they're both 8. Sometimes it's hard to tell which number goes to which part. That's 6, that's 6, that's 11, that's 8. But that doesn't go the way, the orientation that they showed. Interesting. Oh well. It's fine. Go crazy, yes. Oh, Zarna's nice. Yeah, and I'm gonna get back to you on that initial thing. I have some ideas about like maybe some video content that I can do for it. Just some talking, some talkies. And I have some local friends who are interested in getting in on the thing as well, which is fun. Some local friends, we did a little Zoom hobby night, and I told them about it, and they said, "Oh, that sounds cool." But you know what? Let's see what this looks like. So it's got so you see the slots, so it locks in, turns, in theory, there we go. And then, oh, look, we have a sponson. Woohoo! So again, the housing moves, it turns, and then you would attach, for this one at least, you would attach that bracket and the melta, and it would look like that. Cool. Like I said, I'm not going to glue any more than that at this point, and we'll see what happens. So essentially, I'm just going to build all the other little weapon options next. Well, I've talked on this stream, at Hyper, and other places. I've talked about I've talked about a lot of things. But I thought I might actually make a video with my talking about the different parts of the hobby and how they're all valid, and I support you, no matter which ones you do. But also my thoughts on how to pick an army, or the different paths you can travel down in figuring out which army to pick. Because I think it could be useful information for people. Because there are ways, people. There are ways of picking an army that don't have to be super stressful. If you're interested in such a thing. Meltas all day long. Well, Pandar, good luck with that one. Sale is not a word that Games Workshop is very familiar with. Although again, there are outlets, let's say. Because, all right, so here's how it works with Games Workshop. Games Workshop, which includes the website and any of their physical stores, they do not offer any discounts on their products. So if you go to the website, things are very expensive, relatively speaking. And that's just how much the things cost. Now, if you go to an independent retailer, which is anything from miniature market to your local comic book store that sells Warhammer stuff, they are allowed to discount up to a certain percentage. I think it's, 15%? Something like that, essentially. For standard prices. And of course, your local store may do other things. They may have a loyalty program. They may have a membership, something or other. My local store, Games Workshop. My local store, Emerald Knights, has a membership program. If you're a member of the store, you get 10% off everything, more off of new comics, stuff like that, which is great. So depending on your specific situation, there could be ways to save off of just like buying things standard. Then of course there's, buying online from other places, eBay, obviously. Games Workshop gets you even with the full price stuff because number one, they have exclusives you can't buy anywhere else. And the idea is, of course, that if you go to a Warhammer store, there's so many things going on. They're helping you. They provide a place for you to, well, not this year, but they provide a place for you to work on your models, and they help you, and they're always doing little events and things like that. And that they assume that that's enticement enough for you to go there and spend full price on all of those products. Which, for some people, obviously it works. There's a small child running around my toy room right now. Hi. Say hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Good. What army are you going to play? Watch your step. Okay. You're going to play, yeah?
Peg one.
Space ones?
No.
No.
Mommy one.
Mommy ones? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good army, the mommy ones. I like that answer. Okay, go find mommy. Okay, these multi-melta contraptions are done as far as the pieces are all cut out and ready. You're going to tell mommy? Okay, go tell her.
I told mommy.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, cool.
Yes, that is that is Max. Benjamin right now is on some kind of Zoom space camp thing. It's pretty cool. All right, next we've got these new Tempest bolters. So I need 6 and 7. Looks like they're the same things on each one. Yeah, they listen to stuff about astronauts. They build all these crazy things. It's pretty wild. But yeah, part of what we're going to talk about with everybody is there are ways of getting into this hobby and not spending $1 million. And part of that is just learning and basically buying smart. Because obviously, if you go to the website or a store and you're like, okay, I want to start, let's say, orcs. I want to start in an orc army. Well, there's a lot of stuff you could buy. Whoa. That went flying. Even for orcs, there's a lot of stuff you could buy. But if you're just starting out, you don't need to buy everything. Oh, crap. Where did that piece go? We have a loose piece, people. Oh, there it is. Oh, it went all the way under the table. Oi, 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 oi. Okay. Which local store are you calling as local? Well, yeah, I mean, and of course these days, not every store is available to go to and everything else. But yes, self-control, only buy what you need. Or again, what you research and find out is what you need for your army at whatever point you are in the process. And there are things like start collecting boxes and these new combat patrol boxes, which can be good, but not always. But hopefully there are people that you can ask for help and advice. Now, I can't always recommend going into a Warhammer store and asking for that advice, because it's well known that the employees of Warhammer stores, they have certain quotas they need to fulfill at times, especially on those start collecting boxes. That, like, they literally have to sell a certain number of them. So they might push a little bit on certain things that you don't necessarily need. Buy everything. Yeah, I mean, that's the other option. that certainly does make it easier too. You don't have to choose if you're just buying one of everything.
I think the rover problem is the batteries. Need to sneak past. Well, I don't need to sneak past. Good.
Okay, so we have these little bolters. They do need to be glued together in some way. Okay, there we go. To make them 4 bolters. Well, no, again, and as much as I like to talk about my hobby and share it with people, I'm certainly not suggesting that people buy everything. Patty, that is good. That is definitely good advice. Just be super rich and then spend all your money on it. It definitely helps. Okay. Pandar, that's just evil. Also, typically Warhammer stores don't let you film things while you're in their store. At least if they see you. Alright, let's make sure these are separate enough. Good. Okay. So that's it for those, because those fit on the same brackets as the Meltas. So that step is done. Yeah, those Tempest bolters are for the Reaper. That's why you got to go undercover. Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, and depending on who the person is, I'm not saying you can never film in a Warhammer store, but they tend to be a little touchy about that. Okay, now we have the last set for the Lancer. These are the heavy bolters, or what are those? I don't know what that option is actually. But I need to find 42, 43, 46, and 47. Those. Here we go. Here we go. They'll never see me come in. Hey, Keen. I think I missed somebody who came in above. I apologize. Okay. Trying to like I said, one of the other projects I'm working on this week is this crazy thing for Saturday, for our Warhammer show on Saturday. Something to work on and talk about. I just need a little bit more time. I need more time in the week. Thanks, Keen. Yeah, things are going well. Going well. Hopefully you are doing well also. I hope you all are doing well as can be. Gotta figure out when we're all getting vaccinated. I'm excited. I ain't no anti-vaxxer. I also have family and good friends who are in the healthcare world and also in the pharmaceutical world, and they're like, yeah, this is fine. Some of them have already been vaccinated. I'm ready to sign up when my number is called. I know, it's just when. Well, yeah, like I said,
I'm making a solar panel rover.
The friends
Instead of batteries, it has solar panels.
The friends and family that I know who have been vaccinated, they're all in healthcare at some level or another. Okay, so the tricky thing with these is that these attach directly to somehow these housings. Not that one, apparently. Oh, I guess they are fitted slightly for the different sides. No? Interesting. So those don't fit exactly. Why is that? Oh, because it's a different part. Okay, so those do need... Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. That makes some sense. Well, what part does that attach to? 35. Ah, there they are. It's missing something. Yeah, if you go, each state should have a website that lists those things. For California, they basically have just put out a listing that says it's like when you like when you're, Jesus Christ. Hold on one second. Hey. Okay. Children are very excited. It's sort of like logging in for your flight. Like they put you in all these different groups. So for California, at least, they've just announced groups A1, AB, and A, or no, 1A, 1A, 1B, and 1C, and it's like really old people, people who work in healthcare with other people, people with pre-existing conditions, and so on and so forth. So nothing for me just yet, but I wonder if when they get to the next group, if they're going to include parents of school kids, because as we all know, they really want school to open up again. Okay, so now with this, so if these smaller ones hold these, then that means back over here I can glue these brackets onto these. Good. Okay, cool. I was a little bit concerned about why those weren't getting glue, and now I know that they can. But yeah, we're still, early on in the process with getting all of these vaccines distributed everywhere. So it's going to be, unless you're in one of these special groups, it's going to be a little while. Yeah. Pandarson group. See you in 2023. But again, that cool part, or the interesting part, is that as we go through this, more and more of these other vaccines will be approved that might end up being better and easier and cheaper for everybody, which is cool. Yeah, Zardoz, I'm sure you'll be in. I mean, if you were in California, at least you'd be in 1C, I think. So you would be in like the first big percent of the population. Okay, so going back here just to verify, if I'm looking at the sponson that's on this side, I want this bracket. Good. Okay. And close that gate on your way out, please. I heard. You've been very loud about it. He's making a solar-powered rover. If any of you didn't hear yet. Oh, that glue got a little loose. Okay. And the next. Yeah, and then there's, of course, there's all the education that people need to have about how, yes, you get the vaccine, but then you still need to wear your mask when you're around other people because you don't know who else has had the vaccine, and if you could potentially still be carrying it, even though you have antibodies, the whole thing. Which I'm sure people are going to have issues with and not understand. There we go. So yeah, these fit on these smaller ones. But also, they don't fit, they don't stay. So we'll have to figure out what to do with those. Yeah, man, I wish there was, like, they put a barcode on you or something when you've been vaccinated, so we know who has and who hasn't. But yeah, I'm all for the vaccines. I'm not worried about taking it. One of those things. All right. So you find people who are watching right now. I need your help. We're at the point of this build where we have decisions to make. You ready to make a decision? Hey. Okay. So we have the turret up here on top, painted red. Well, we're not there. We're not quite there yet. So we have the top. These things have covers and little doodads that go there, but we have to decide what's going up here on top. Now, of course, I can build 33. No, it looks like I can only really build this one way. So options. We have a closed hatch. Or we have a little dude sticking his head out of an open hatch. Like the meme style with the cat at the dinner table. So, do we have a person? Hey, Emily, just in time to help me decide something. Or do we have a closed hatch? So first we need to decide closed or open. And then if we decide open, then we need to decide which head goes in there. And I'll show you the head options in just a second. So, well, are you better at making decisions for other people? Or is it just that you have trouble making decisions for yourself? And then technically, it doesn't matter. We can put this on either way. Open up. I mean, oh man, you could put tiny magnets. No, I'm not doing that though. Either open or closed. So you need to let me know in the chat if it should be open or closed. Open or closed. What is it gonna be? And I'm going to continue with the stubber. Do you remember the days when stubbers used to be only on guard vehicles? I remember those days. I think all these Space Marines running around with stubbers. What the hell? What has this world come to? A stubber is not an elegant weapon befitting the angels of the Emperor. Okay, 2 votes for the open top. Who else? Who else? What's it going to be? Could go either way at this point. Open top. I know, right? Bolters are so much cooler than stubbers. All these new vehicles, though, these new Primaris vehicles, they're bristling with so many weapons. Maybe they just ran out of bolters. Like, quick, grab something else to tack onto this thing. Well, we got a lot of stubbers. All right, go for stubbers. Okay, it looks like the consensus is going to be open top. Person sticking his head out. So I'll show you the 2. I'm going to give you 2 options. The kit comes with 3, but I am vetoing 1 right out of the box. I apologize to no one. Oh man, I have to put the little tiny handles on this thing. Eesh, okay, that's fine. This is fine. First, the little ammo box. I'm sure there's a technical term for it. Well, I have one. I have an ammo container. Excuse me. Oh yeah, it's mostly gone. There's still some left on the thumb. I should probably clean it off. Find something else to put on there. Okay, so in the kit, you get an unhelmeted head, which I shall never use. And then it's kind of hard to see. Well, I don't know if it's going to show it, but the top one is basically like the standard Primaris head. It's like an intercessor, and the bottom one is a Phobos head. It's pretty tough to see the difference, but it's just 2 different versions of the helmet. The top one, like I said, is a little bit more standard, and the bottom one is this somewhat more stealthy guys. Maybe it would be So that's the standard one. We'll call that choice A. And then that's the stealthier one. We'll call that choice B. It kind of looks like he's got a kind of a weird open mouth. It looks better in person. Well, right. I mean, he... Okay, John. Yes. Not stealthy in the tank, but belonging to... No C. No C option for this one. 35 and 36. I need the little handles. So A. Okay, we got one vote for A. I don't want to sway the vote, so I won't tell you what my preference is. Because it doesn't matter. As long as there's no C, then I'm... Oh no, B with a sad face. He has a sad face already. Alright, where are these tiny handles? Tiny handles. Oh, it looks like it's these. 36 and 37. Yeah. And basically the difference there is if you're running an army that's mostly intercessors, hellblasters, stuff like that, then you'd use the standard head. But if you're running this alongside other Marines in Phobos army, like incursors and all that kind of garbage, suppressors and all those, then you run it with the Phobos head. But it really doesn't matter. It's for this vehicle, it's purely aesthetics, which arguably is the most important thing when you're building models. You want things to look good. I think A is still leading slightly. If anyone wants to vote, now is your chance. These are small parts. I also mixed up which side it was. Oh, I see. There's a little tiny dot that shows you where it goes. Nope. Like that. Okay, if the stubber faces this way, then they have to... I'm just gonna keep dropping the parts until they make sense. Like that. Ooh, that's a little tiny piece. Is that right? Okay. I'm gonna glue it this way. Okay, cool. Just a little itty bitty tiny bit of glue. Oh, Patty, no. A couple weeks ago on the Dune stream, we painted nails, and yeah, it's Jessica had this neat kit that has, it's like focus. It has these little dots that go on top, and they looked really cool when they were all done, and they've slowly been chipping away, and I just haven't gotten around to cleaning it off fully, but they're neat. It definitely felt interesting having all that texture on top of my nails, and it lasted for a little while, but now they're pretty much gone. I don't want it to go. I guess I could reapply. Okay, which way did this thing go? Like this. My boys love to paint their nails, and they were very excited about this and wanted to do it themselves. But then we realized with how it chips off, and it's this little tiny things on there. We're like, nah, probably not the best for the kids. So, but thankfully they have their own nail polish colors. Okay, one handle is on. Do it this way. Okay. Man, these are little and fiddly. Okay, that'll do. It's not straight, but it's not like the model's not actually going to be holding that, so it's fine. Let that dry. Hey, Tiny Chris. I'm doing well. I hope you are doing well also. Okay, so I think we've decided on head A. So I'm going to start getting the pieces prepped for that. Now you will notice there are a bunch of parts that haven't been used yet, and those are for the Impulsor build. It's the rest of the sprue. So a lot of this is just not needed, unless, of course, you build it the way I have been, where I'm not gluing on the tank parts. So I could then run this as an Impulsor. So when I build these parts for my regular Impulsor, I will build them duplicate, building them on these, so I could run them both as Impulsors if I wanted to, but certainly don't need to do any of that now. All right, so 33 should be this ring here. Yes, good. Rabid Wombat, you watch it. And you'll all see when we do our armies. I have a couple of figures with no helmets. They do exist. I just massively do not prefer them. There are a couple of models that I think do have decent looking unhelmeted heads. It is possible to do it. They are just very few and far between. And again, for the plastic to run through the molds for these rings, they have this kind of thing in the middle, which is actually kind of a cool bit for something. I don't know what, but I'm gonna keep that in the bits box. Actually, I might use that for the project for Saturday. I've really been digging through my bits. That's an interesting thing to say for Saturday. All right, that's going to be covered up, so I'm not going to clear off everything inside. Okay, now I need the little torso piece. 41. This one here. Now, despite the heads being different and being different marks of armor, the little top of the torso here is the same for either one you pick. Because you really can't see much of it, just the armored collar and like the shoulder pads. So. And then, okay, and then I need the head and the two hatch pieces. Head. The hatches are 13 and 12. Not that sprue, not that sprue, not that sprue. There we go. I'm assuming, yes, 13 and 12. Cool. Yeah, it's got to be a challenge being inside, in your armor, inside of a vehicle, bashing around. Although, most of the depictions of Space Marines in vehicles, they essentially, they sit down or stand up against the side and then, like, basically, like, attach themselves so they're not going to bounce around too much. Especially when they're on drop ships and things like that. I guess that would help. All right. Now I just have to. I always never know which side they want to face forward. Oh, actually, it does matter because of the stubber. The stubber looks like it attaches to one of the. You know what? Let's get that piece actually to make sure. Nope. Okay. Mozzarella, not for breakfast. Them's fighting words. Okay, this piece is going to go like that. Okay, I see. I see how it works. All right, so that this needs to be the front, and this is going to go. I mean, assuming you want the Marine to face forward, which I suppose we do. Yes, yeah, Tiny Chris. In fact, the way I'm building it, because this tank, technically there are 3 different ways to play this tank with 3 different weapons on the turret. So what I'm doing is they've designed it in such a way that, so first of all, you can play it like this, where it's just a troop carrier with people hanging out in the back. Or you can build it the tank way. So I'm not gluing this part on, so I can play it like this, or drop that on the top. Fits fairly well. And then the turret itself, also I'm not gluing together, so I can open it up and pop in the different guns. And again, even without glue, they stay together pretty well. Now, of course, I'm not going to be turning it upside down on the battlefield because then the top will fall off. But otherwise, it does everything it needs to, even without glue. And again, I can open it up, take that off, put on the big old laser. Again, you can only play one thing at a time, so it's not like I have to swap this out on, while I'm playing. And yeah, it actually works really well. And then 2, when you're doing parts like this where you have things that you can interchange like this, even if they're a little bit loose, when you get around to the actual painting process, the paint, even if like I'm not going to paint underneath this because I'm just going to be swapping this in and out. But when you spray the primer and you get some paint on it, that little bit of extra material too will help things stick a little bit more if they're a little bit loose. At least, so the theory goes. All right, so let's get a little bit of glue in here. Line it up with the guy. That looks good. Oh, I didn't trim off the bottom of his head. I do need to do that. Okay. Okay. So now we have a little tiny person in the hatch. Nice. And now we add the parts of the hatch. Which way does it go? They want me to do it this way. So if it closes like this, then it opens like that. All right. Oh man, that just kind of floats there. Would it open up all the way in my... Well, they don't want you to have it lie flat, but up at an angle. Man, I guess you just have to hold it and hope it sets that way? That's kind of weird. Oh, and have it line up? Oof. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. With enough glue, anything is possible. And enough patience and steady enough hands that it can set. The screen is not frozen. I'm just holding it very still. Duct tape and glue and you can hold the world together. Absolutely. Let's see. Okay. Alright, I think that'll work. It's a little bit more open than I think they suggest. Maybe I can adjust it a little bit. Yeah, I think they kind of want it at an angle. Ooh, if I hold it like this, that could work. Alright, so once I get the hatches and the stubber on, the last page, I'll be on the very last page. And there are just a couple of little bits and bobs to slap on that are really easy. And then we'll be done. Of course, I got to paint it eventually, but that's for another decade. So after this, I'm not on screen, but I'm just holding it pretty close here. So after today, tomorrow, Thursday, day off. I will be back on Friday. Yes. And then, of course, Saturday, dun dun dun, we've got Warhammer show, Warhammer War Room in the afternoon with Jessica. Thank you for the follow, Steve Yeager 69. I am putting together a Gladiator tank. I'm holding a piece slightly off screen. Okay, there we go. Close, close. Trying to get the angles of the two parts mostly the same. They're a little bit off, but that's okay. No one will ever notice. Like he just popped out of that hatch. Look at that. Hello. Close enough. Let it set a little bit more, and then I can fiddle with it a little bit. So Saturday, War Room with Jessica. We've got a cool thing that we're working on. I just have to find the time to do some more work on it between now and then, and it should be cool. And we'll talk about all the usual kind of stuff. And then Saturday night is going to be a Homebuddies group stream. I believe it is Janelle hosting. Is it it's not the Fate thing, not for this weekend at least. That is still definitely in the works though. Oh shoot, I gotta glue this thing on this one. You better believe we are working on that. Okay, so there's the mounting for the stubber. It's right in front of his face. Oh, and then I don't glue the stubber on. Oh, that's right, because it kind of just droops down in the front. All right, so I'm going to leave this. Let that dry. Looks like it's good. Then we get to the very last page. I'm also not going to I'm not going to glue on the base right now. So these have, the new hover grav tanks have this new system for their bases where you get these clear parts. And they came up with a pretty cool thing. So you attach these two parts. Hold on. But essentially the way it works is it's angled. So if you do it this way, the vehicle sits flat, but if you put it on this way, it'll be at an angle. Like it's sort of, so you can either have it hovering flat or angled down or up, I suppose. But essentially what everybody does though is you put a magnet on there and put a magnet on the bottom, so you can just stick it on with a magnet, not have to glue it onto this and glue this onto the base. Well, this stays on the base, but I'll do that some other time. I have magnets, I just got to go and figure out which one will be the best to hold this beast onto it. Okay, so last page. And again, the sponsons are separate. We're not going to glue that stuff. I got to magnetize the little ones. So we've got Promethium tanks to go on the side, which are here. And these are essentially, what you'd call optional parts, but they will make this thing look a little bit beefier, a little bit cooler. And these are on the extra sprue for the Gladiator, so these do not come with the standard impulsor. And you'll see they go on the housing up on top. What were these for? Oh, did I miss a part for the not gluing it together? Ah, yes, I did miss a part. Okay, that's fine. So these go to the sponsons, but they're just the cover that goes on the back. Okay, there we go. One. And then some people really, really go nuts with their tanks and their vehicles and just add a whole bunch of bits on the outside, more ammo containers. What have I seen? Oh, I've seen people make their own sandbags and put sandbags on the outside. There's all sorts of real world examples of other kinds of armor and plating and mesh and things, camouflage nets. all that crazy stuff. Some hobbyists have done it, made their own, and put them on their vehicles. Sky's the limit. I'm good with what's in the kit, at least for the first one. Who knows? If I do more one day, then maybe I'll think about doing some of those kind of crazy details. So these just attach sort of like that. Let's get the turret out of the way so we can see what we're dealing with. So where this top frame fits on here, there are these little holders. All right, Rabbit Wombat. Oh yeah, I gotta get going pretty soon here too. Happy New Year, Rabbit Wombat. See you next time. And these just sort of fit right here on top. How do these fit? It should be like that. Now I got to glue these carefully to make sure the glue doesn't get onto the larger piece, because I don't want to glue that to the main body of the tank. So I'm going to glue it separately. I think they're the same part, right? Yeah, seems like. Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, just going to be little Prometheum tanks on the sides. Again, added detail, and it also will beef out the, what do you call it? Like the silhouette. Again, to differentiate it from the smaller Impulsor version. Okay, so we got those. That's good. And yeah, so going back to the sponsons. The sponson in place, and then the cap that goes over it. And again, none of that needs to be glued. They'll all stay in place pretty well. We glue the last little bits on, and then yeah, we'll look at that together. And it looks like for up on the top, on the side, go these little auto launchers. And I don't know what the... I guess you can choose which one you want to do. There are square and round. Square, round. Okay, who's watching? Who's still with us, or who's lurking? We have to put auto launchers on the side of the top turret. We have square or round. Square or round. And they go right on the side right there. So let me show you on the turret itself. So there's a little spot right here on the side. So it's just gonna be a little piece that goes right there. Okay, we have 1 vote for round. 2 votes for round. Yeah, I can't remember if there's actually a rules difference between the two of them, but that's definitely just a... I don't think there's a rules difference. No, it's not an actual weapon. It's just like a feature, basically. Round. I think we're overwhelmingly votes for round already. I like the round ones more too. So I'm happy with the votes. Wait, is it just 1 for the round? Oh, interesting. There's just 1 round one. That's interesting. So then what do you do on the other side? You just leave it blank? Or you put a square one on the other side? Ooh, this is a cool piece. Another little tank. Tank for the tank. Well, I want 2 round ones. Why is there only one? So if they only give me one, do I leave the other side blank? Or do I put a square one on the other side? Ooh. We'll see what it looks like. And then we can decide. Alright, and these are the last... Basically the last, like, 4 pieces right here. So close. Okay. Oh, so I gotta clean this off. That's what takes so much time. Cut these pieces off and you gotta trim off all the extra little sprue bits. Okay. Good. Good. So here. It's gonna go like that. Yeah. That looks cool. I like it. I can dig it. Again, I don't want the glue to drip down further and get on the part that I don't want glue. My baby just came in the other side of the room and took a picture of me. We'll see what that ends up looking like. Alright, so these other things go on the actual main body. Oh, no, I'm sorry, they don't. They go on the back of here. So we've got these nice empty spots right here. So let's add more bits to those spots, shall we? And it looks like they just kind of float there. Interesting. Okay. Good enough. Safety is our number one concern. So we have what appears to be... looks like it could be fire extinguishers? I don't know. Some kind of safety equipment back there. And then this other one is just a... looks like another tank of Promethium. Like so. And again, there's no actual like slots or pegs for these to fit in. They just sort of hover there, so I'm trying to eyeball them and make sure they're straight. If you were a pro painter, these are also definitely pieces that you would paint before applying them, only because it's going to be dang near impossible to get paint all the way around this thing, like all the way down back there. But that's okay. I'm not a pro painter, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay. With those things done, we're going to go back to this. Now, in theory, this should attach without having to be glued. That way. And hopefully without popping out any pieces. Oh, look at that. It works. Okay, cool. Yeah, chicken barf. There are so many great YouTube painting tutorials. If for anybody who's at all interested in learning how to paint miniatures, yes, there's so much in way of resources out there. I watch some when I can. I subscribe to some of those fine folks. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there. I took a class at my local comic book store. We're lucky enough to have a really pretty amazing painter who is one of the owners who works there. And after that, it's just a lot of practice. Okay, we're going to put all the pieces together. We're going to put the Reaper version, which apparently currently is the best, most points efficient version of this tank. I'm going to see what this thing looks like. For the first time, some of the stuff is still drying, so I just want to be a little bit careful. I'm going to get all the parts. And again, not everything is fully glued on, but that's okay. Got another hatch. Hatches everywhere. Sponsons. The whole back assembly. This dude up on top. Again, still not quite fully dry yet. And would you look at that, folks? We've got sponsons. They move up and down. I can also take them off and replace them with the other weapons. There's one on the other side. These are just sort of placeholders on this version of the vehicle. It doesn't really do much else. We've got a bunch of doodads and things going on the back. We've got the guy up on top. He's got a stubber that is posable. We've got the cannons, the auto launcher here. And yeah. Except for, like I said, there's for the smaller sponsons, they have these itty bitty ones. Those need to be magnetized. So I got to figure out how I want to do those. But except for that, and just gluing on that top piece once I can get into it a little bit more, this is done. Oh, and then of course fixing the little base thing, but I can just do that some other time. Awesome. Very, very cool. And again, thanks to all of you. The community funded this as a project. We are going to name it, so continue thinking of names. Put them in the Discord in my Warhammer room. I'll put out another announcement for it. I'll take a picture now that it's complete. Talk again a little bit more about the chapter and sort of like ideas for what it could be. But I'm also open to the silly ones. There you go, Panda. all good suggestions. Okay, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Let's see who else is streaming right now. Thanks everybody for hanging out, getting this thing done. Very excited. Fangdorn, that's a cool name. Put it in the Discord so I don't forget. All right, bringing up the Twitch, seeing who's online. All right, we got Mr. John. The fuck? I like it. Sometimes I play against young people, so I don't know if I want to paint that name on the side of it. But I do like it. I may have to insist on some parental veto power. Especially these days, I paint or I play most games against my 6-year-old son here at the house. And again, the idea is that once I actually get to the painting process, somewhere at least on this, the name will be on it, because because that's always cool. And you put the name of a vehicle on it. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're going to go check out what John is doing. John is super awesome. If you're not already following him, please do. If you're already following him, then subscribe. And I will see everybody on Friday for more miniature fun activities. So otherwise, have a great day. Have a great end of the year. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye. Go say hi to John.